wait 10 years in one place. This is the story of a dog who waited 10 years in one place just for love. Max had a family once, a little boy named Tim and his mother Mary. They were Max's whole world. Max and Tim were best friends. Every day after school, Tim ran to the yard where Max waited. They played together under the warm sun, chasing butterflies and rolling in the grass. Max loved the way Tim laughed, loud and free, like music to his ears. At night, Max would curl up beside Tim's bed, keeping watch while the boy dreamed. One rainy afternoon, everything changed. Tim went outside to play despite the storm. Mary called him inside, but Tim didn't come back. Max waited by the door, his paws wet, his eyes fixed on the street. He waited for Tim to return, but the boy was gone. Days passed. The house grew quiet. Mary cried often, but Max stayed loyal, sitting by the gate every day, watching the road. Rain or shine, snow or heat, Max did not leave. His hope was strong. Even when his body grew tired, neighbors noticed him. They saw the dog sitting quietly by the gate, his eyes filled with waiting. Some brought him food. Some petted him gently. But Max didn't want toys or treats. He wanted Tim. Years passed, 10 whole years. Through winter's cold and summer's heat, Max stayed. His fur faded. His steps slowed, but his heart never gave up. One day, Sarah, a young woman who had just moved to the town, saw Max by the gate. Curious, she brought him food and sat beside him. Max looked at her kindly but kept his eyes on the road. Sarah learned about Max's story from the neighbors and felt a deep sadness mixed with respect. "You're waiting for your friend," she said softly. Max wagged his tail a little but stayed at his post. Sarah began visiting every day. She talked to Max about life, about hope, about waiting for someone you love. She read to him, told stories, and brushed his fur. Max seemed to understand. He leaned into her kindness but never forgot his true weight. Sarah searched old records, talked to people, and tried to find what happened to Tim, but no one knew. It was as if the boy had disappeared. Still, Max never left his place. The gate became his home, his promise to Tim. The story spread through town. People admired Max's loyalty. They said, "That dog shows us how to love without giving up, without forgetting." Max became a symbol of hope, faith, and true friendship. One afternoon, Sarah brought an old photo she found in a dusty box inside her new house. It showed a smiling boy holding a dog, a boy with brown hair and shining eyes, and a dog with the same brown and white fur as Max. "This must be Tim and Max," she whispered. Max sniffed the photo, then looked up at Sarah with soft eyes. It was as if he remembered. Sarah visited the library, spoke with neighbors, and searched for anything about Tim's family. Some remembered Tim as a lively boy. Others remembered how suddenly the family left. But no one knew where Tim was now. One chilly evening, an old man named Mr. Jenkins visited Max. He said he had known Tim's family long ago. Tim was a brave boy, he said. He had dreams bigger than this town. One day, his family had to leave suddenly. Tim had no choice but to go far away. Mr. Jenkins didn't know where Tim was now, but he believed the boy never forgot Max. "Some promises," he said softly, "are kept in the heart, no matter the distance." Weeks passed. Every morning, Max woke and waited by the gate. Sarah stayed by his side, sharing stories and keeping him warm. Then one morning, Sarah found a letter in the mailbox addressed to the old house next door. The handwriting was shaky but familiar. It read, "I never forgot. I am coming home." Tears filled Sarah's eyes as she showed the letter to Max. His tail wagged slowly, and his eyes sparkled for the first time in years. Hope had become real. Days passed slowly, but Max woke each morning with new energy. He sat by the gate with bright eyes, ready for the footsteps he had dreamed of for so long. The whole town soon heard about the letter, and everyone watched the road, hoping with Max and Sarah. Then one crisp autumn afternoon, a figure appeared in the distance, a man walking slowly but steadily toward the old gate. His steps were careful, his eyes full of memories. It was Tim. Max's ears perked up. His tail began to wag faster than it had in years. When Tim reached the gate, Max jumped up and down, trembling with excitement. Tim knelt and wrapped his arms around his old friend. "Sorry it took me so long," Tim whispered, tears in his eyes. "But I never stopped thinking about you, Max." The reunion was more than a meeting, it was a moment where time stood still, where years of waiting disappeared in an instant. The bond between a boy and his dog was unbroken. Tim explained that his family had to move suddenly for work and he couldn't take Max. He tried to return, but life became complicated. Still, he never forgot. The town celebrated Max and Tim's return. Their story spread far and wide, touching hearts everywhere. People saw in Max a lesson that waiting is not weakness but strength, that loyalty is not just a word but an action. Max and Tim were finally together again. His promise had been kept. Max's story teaches us that in a world that moves fast, true loyalty and hope shine brighter than anything. Maybe there's someone in your life worth waiting for, worth believing in. A friend, a family member, or a dream. If Max's story moved you, please like and subscribe to support more stories of hope and loyalty. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, because sometimes all we need is a little faith and patience. Thanks for being here, and keep believing.